home ownership really starts with talking to your lender. You've got to choose a mortgage provider that is going to be able to guide you through FHA, possibly, um, which is many of our transactions, particularly for first-time home buyers, are these days. There are some grants that are coming back into the marketplace that may provide some support for many first-time home buyers as well. We just have to really wait. Our economy may not be quite strong enough yet, but Wells Fargo has come out with a new low minimum down payment product for moderate income buyers up to $61,000. So again, talking to the right lender, Wells Fargo, Richmond Mortgage Funding Group, who's a subsidiary of SunTrust Mortgage, in joint partnership with our company, Joiner Fund Properties. We fully believe that the home buyer today, the first-time home buyer particularly, has access to mortgage funds with a minimum of down payment, but it is important to start saving now. If you're renting a $500 a month apartment, start putting away $1,200, $1,300 a month. 6 months to a year before you think you're going to make that transition, because as you can feel comfortable paying or at least taking that much cash flow out of your budget, and you'll be able to understand and adjust to a mortgage, because at the end of the year you'll also get a tax refund because of your mortgage interest deduction, which I remind everybody to please let your congressmen and senators know we have to support to include and to not get rid of the mortgage interest deduction. Economically, it would hurt us all more than any of us could probably imagine. Those are the first two things. It's really about finances. Get yourself lined up. Make sure you're going to be able to afford it. Talk to a lender. Understand what your plan is, and then you actually sit down with me. This is when we really start talking about your wish list, your dream list. You got to write it down. Sit down. If you're buying a home with someone, sit down over a quiet, intimate moment and talk about what are your dreams, what do you really want in your home, what kind of, where do you want it to be, what kind of school district do you want it to be in, do you want it to be near shopping, do you want it to be in the country. You kind of start figuring out a little bit more about what it is exactly that's going to work to meet your dreams, and then we'll start putting a search together. We've got some tools that we get through Joiner Fund Properties and the Richmond Association of Realtors that really allow us to help you manage your search, because these days your first searches are online. Your first viewings or your first showings are usually online because of the number of photographs, the mapping, the aerial photographs. You can get a real good sense of what you're going to look at, and really should, before you actually go see the property. And it's good to understand where you are. Then the next thing is study those and sort of watch the properties, and then once we've got good clarification on parameters and your wish list, then we set the search up and we view sort of geographically. We'll take all the homes in a West End community or in a Chesterfield community at the same time. I usually like to take my clients to see anywhere between 6 and 8 homes in an afternoon, usually about a 3-hour window. By that time, after seeing that many homes, your eyes maybe rolling back into your head and your head spinning around, but we don't want that to happen. So we want to make it fun, enjoyable, and I'll sort of take you through each of the homes and point out the positives, negatives, and just what I'm seeing, what I'm observing in the home. If you're looking for estimates, I can give you sort of swags as to what I've seen some things cost. Others that I don't know, I'll let you know. I'm not sure, we need to check with somebody. We try to schedule that, depending on your priority, weekly, a couple of times a week. It just depends on how quickly you need to be in a home, what time frame and goal you have, because everything we do is driven toward what your goals and objectives are. If you're looking to, to get in a home by June and need to manage a end of May ending of a lease, there are opportunities. There are things that we can do. We just need to know the situation and what you're looking for. As accredited buyer's representative, I'm trained and have gone through additional education to help be able to manage the process as smoothly for you as possible. I'm representing your interest here, not the sellers. And granted, I am being compensated by the sellers through the form of commission that's already been negotiated before we ever set foot in the door. So that what the seller's paying is obligated, and that's what compensates me for the value that I bring to the agreement and to this partnership with my buyers. That's why we do include an exclusive buyer's agency agreement for 90 to 180 days, depending on your need and requirement. And it spells out the responsibilities and duties I have to you, and as well as what I'm expecting in terms of duties and responsibilities from you as the client, qualified client, who is trying to meet a real estate objective. And we define it, we explain it, and once it's signed, we start going and looking at houses. It can be, and it really depends on if we've done our job of sort of getting the right prospects in front of you. It's almost a process of elimination, not a process of selection, so to speak. There are going to be certain homes that are not in the right school district or don't have the right style. There's going to be lots that you can rule out right away, and unless it's something that you could really grow attached to and never question, then let's put it on the list. Yeah, there are going to be some A, B, and C sort of category opportunities that we're going to see. But with our tool, we put everything in possibilities first, and after we see them, we can either move them to favorites or rejects. But it's a way that we can keep track of what we've seen, where we've seen it. I get insight into what you like, what are your favorites, and try to work toward narrowing that down to make the process as smooth as possible. Would love to chat with you at any time. My business partner and I, Kathy Cox, are full-time accredited buyers representatives that are waiting to meet, and we'd be glad to sit down and interview with you and determine what your goals are and how we can help, and what kind of time frame, and move on from there. I'll be back with other editions of the Richmond Real Estate Guide on different topics. Let me know if there's anything in particular you'd like answered, and I'll do my best. Thanks so much. This is Wayne Goche from Joiner Fine Properties. Thank you. Good night.